Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen around the world, wherever you are. Welcome to Magic the Gathering Arena, where today we are looking at an Explorer deck, upgraded version of the deck that we discussed recently. A nickel-bonus, but Yorion flavor. We've got snakes along with our dragons and our giants and our really creepy serial killers. Why, do you ask? Why Yorion? Well, a couple of reasons. One, there were just so many things that I wanted to put in this deck, that I needed to put in this deck, in order to give it a fair shot against everything that's going on in Explorer right now. So, if you're up against Greasefang, you need an instant speed turn 3 removal spell. Otherwise, you're just dead. Like, you need these Fatal Pushes or Braids or even turn 2 Thoughtseize. 10 is the bare minimum number of interactive spells you need against that deck. If you're up against white, mono green, then there's a certain minimum number of spot removal spells that you need. If you're up against control, then there's a certain number of card advantage engines that you need. And Graveyard Trespasser has just been an all-star against most of the format. Almost everybody's using their graveyard in some way or the other, from people who are just incidentally playing Kroxa to others who are actively using their graveyard to generate value, things like Greasefang and what have you, and just the life gain, and also just the fact that it's a really big pain against opposing control decks. Like, all of it combines to make this card. It's just, I brought this in so many times from the sideboard that I figured you need this main deck. But that's too many things to fit into one deck. So 80 cards it is. Now, Yorion, when you go from 60 to 20 cards, to maintain the same level of land consistency in a land-heavy deck, you're normally going, or at least by land-heavy, I mean in a deck where the mana costs do go high. So let's if we can, oh well, I can't rearrange these, but Shadow Skull Smashing, how come only really here? So it's really 8 4-drops and 4 5-drops, and in a deck like that you don't want to miss your land drops. So from 26 to increase consistency, even the fraction exactly is 34, I believe is the conversion. 36 lands, which corresponds to 27 out of 60 lands, gives you a better shot at not getting mana screwed. One of the few ways this deck can just completely get dumpstered is it cannot cast its spells. So you increase lands by 10, that means you increase spell count by 10, but 4 of those are automatically Omen of the Sea, because Omen of the Sea is a very easy way to increase the consistency of your deck despite going up 20 cards, and also a very easy way to generate card advantage with Yorion. Also, incidentally, happens to trigger Fatal Push if you sacrifice it. So you really have the space to add 6 more cards, but oh my gosh, 6 cards it was. The fact that we can play all of these Planeswalkers in the main is absolutely incredible. The fact that we can have Trespasser in the main is incredible. Like, one of the problems that I was highlighting last time we looked at this deck is it's not reactive enough to be a successful control deck. Like, white with blue-black allows you to answer every permanent the opponent could ever play. White has incredible removal coupled with blue and black. But red doesn't. We have a really hard time removing enchantments. Artifacts are fine, they're handleable, but it's not like, oh yeah, give me artifacts, I'll munch him. Not exactly that. It's just we have some incidental artifact destruction. Red, what it's good at is asking questions, right? Presenting threats that are difficult to answer. And it lets us get in some nice 2-for ones outside of just nickel bullets, right? Kolagon's Command, that's a really cool thing we get from red. Red spot removal, but you know, that theoretically could be black. Artifact destruction, but again, not a main deal. No, what you get is Bonecrusher Giant. Removal, that is also a win condition that can also hit Planeswalkers and provide reach. Incredible magic card, pretty hard to remove, so above curve. Kroxa. This deck is never churning out Kroxa. I've almost always had 2 or 3 Kroxa in the decks of this type that I've played so far, but I think that is actually an error. This deck definitely wants Kroxa. You're playing a grindy deck that's going to put stuff in the graveyard. You're eventually going to want to play Kroxa. But you're almost never casting Kroxa more than once because you're not trying to turbo mill your graveyard. So Also, if you need to react to the opponent's stuff and you draw a Croxa instead, it can feel really bad. And also, we don't really have any ways to draw a discard. All of our card advantage is just directly drawing cards and making the opponent discard. So all of that combines to mean that you really just want the one Croxa in your deck. Also, you do a really good job of churning to your deck with, and this is the other thing that red lets you do, 4 copies of Expressive Iteration. This card, I considered playing it, I wanted to play it, I switched on and off, but eventually, having tested a bunch of versions with, having tested a bunch of versions without, 2 mana draw 2 from the top 3, I will take that every time. Like, this deck is basically modern junk, right? It's trying to play a bunch of 2-for-1s or cards that generate consistent value. It's, in that sense, much purer mid-range than it is control. It's proactive, it wants to present threats that are hard to interact with, card advantage machines, disruption, 1-for-1 spot removal, and eventually a whole bunch of 2-for-1 threats. Ashiok is an incredible addition as well. We were leaving this in the sideboard going on and off it in the 60 card decks, but in the 80 card versions, you can have 4 or 5 mana planeswalkers without being flooded with them in hand too often in your opening hand. And the fact that Ashiok just lets you deal with any non-land permanent that might bother you, that is just absolutely incredible. Establishes a board presence. They and Nicol Bolas both do similar things, in that they're 5 mana planeswalkers that can interact with the opponent that also puts you ahead on cards, but both of them have effects that are necessary. Nicol Bolas whittling away their hand and board is really important. Ashiok giving a real board presence and getting rid of anything, not just creature planeswalkers, also very important. Also important to note, Ashiok gets around Ashiok exiles, so it gets around indestructible effects, which Nicky B does not. Also on death effects and so on and so forth. So they both play important niches, and of course Nicol Bolas, funnily enough, is a really good target to blink with Yorion, because then you get the blinks multiple times. Also, you can reset planeswalkers. Also, Sorin the Mirthless. More card draw, more better. Like, once I switched to this deck, one of the things I noticed was I was winning a lot more often because I just had more resources. Like, until now, one of the things that I was really struggling with is I just kept running out of resources. But now, with the introduction of the Yorion, the Omen of the Sea, like, Yorion already gives me a free card. I start every game with 8 cards in my hand compared to my opponent's 7. Sometimes 8 when they're playing Yorion. That already is powerful advantage. So, it's just, I think this ought to be the future of this deck. But we'll see how this goes. This is the first time I'm just not randomly playing the queue for myself when playing this deck. So let's red, because that way next turn we can Expressive Iteration, and we'll make the opponent think we're representing something like a Bone Crusher Giant, which we actually drew, so go figure. But we're going to, what is the opponent doing? We already have an extinction event, so we'll take the Fatal Push in hand, we'll put the event in the library since we already have one, and we'll exile the Takenuma, and we'll play it. Alright, there's your draw 2, and now if the opponent plays a 2-drop, we can kill it with Fatal Push. But that didn't happen. Grazilex. Can't say as I've seen that very often in Explorer, but it is okay. We have an answer, and what an answer it is. Bones will be crushed, I tell you. I didn't want to just slam Nicky B. Like, okay, no, I would have loved to slam Nicky B, but if I slam Nicky B, they discard a card, but then they kill my Nicky B, and they attack with Grazilex and draw a card. That didn't seem great. So this is what we're doing now. Now that this has happened, now what do we do? I think now, just play the Bone Crusher Giant, keep holding up Fatal Push. They're representing some kind of counter magic, that's for sure. Very interesting mana base. Although the opponent is on a budget deck, which is quite possible. They're dungeoning. What on earth? Alright, this is a spicy one, make no mistake. Wow. We are in full on. We are in the territory, let me tell you. What could they do for a black-white? Vanishing Verse is my guess, right? If it's Vanishing Verse they're representing, I don't think they'll have anything with haste or flash. So let's Nickel Bolus under those circumstances. Get around whatever counter magic they're representing. Kill this. I don't mind playing out the Hug of Mauling because I have sufficient removal in hand. Ashiok is removal, Extinction Event is removal, Fatal Push is removal. And now they have to deal with... Well, it's theoretically possible that our cards are slightly better than our opponent's cards. I'm just saying, it's potentially a thing. Yep. Gates will be barred. Anticipating a removal spell, I played out the card that I have multiple copies of. So now the question for me is, do I get the Yorion in hand or leave a Fatal Push or cycle? I think we are okay to leave something up. No, let's just get the Yorion in hand. Now they're going to kill the Nicky B, but that's going, like, we could have stopped them from killing Nicky B if we'd gone like Extinction Event Fatal Push, but I don't much care about keeping him in play. Like, obviously it would be cool to keep him in play, but I'm already fairly inundated on cards. And he's already done his job. He killed a creature, drew a card, exiled a land. He's already been a 3/1 that's gained me 2 life. And then we'll eventually draw another card. Some people, you know, just... Alright. Make him discardable Cheese Thirst. Highly likely that he has a removal spell in hand. He does have 4 cards. Wait, you're playing how many cards? I didn't even realize my opponent was playing goodness knows how many cards. Fly doesn't do anything. Cloister very well, okay. So, Venture, this is attacks or deal combat damage? Combat damage, combat damage. Okay, so right now he can Fungi Cavern my Nicky B, and then Venture twice to draw. What? You're not even gonna take out my Nicky B? Girl, you crazy. I thought you were doing fun things, but now it looks like it might just be bad. Three for 1, I'll take it. Why he didn't attack with a 1/1 is beyond me. Maybe he thought I would just eat that? I don't know. Let's play out Ashiok. Let's make it 2/3, I think. And then next turn, we'll have 9 mana, so we can Extinction Event if need be, plus cast one of our big guys. Ashiok is a big threat. He needs to have removal spell plus attack with Goblin. If he didn't have a removal spell last time, I feel like he would have just killed my Nicky B if he did. If he has another way to venture, he can draw a card. But I don't think any of this comes close to the power of what we're putting out. And there is our template. Now it's a little awkward to have drawn the second Takenuma. But it's okay. We can Takenuma, keep this. Nicky B. Let's get rid of both cards in their hand. So let's get rid of this Yuan T. Now he has to exile a card. Does get rid of that one. And then we will throw away this Goblin token. And now that'll get rid of the other card extinction event. Okay, well, I mean, at this point, I don't think this is very relevant. Let's just try and put this away. Opponent was just trying to have fun and explore, playing his 90 card deck without Yorion. And here we are playing Planeswalkers. Deliberate. Do your deliberations bring you devastating mastery? Like, destroying all non-land permanents is one of the few ways we could lose this, but I don't think he's running that. Well, that was not a real game of Magic. That was a bit like... And on to round 2, where we've got a pretty phenomenal hand. We're on the play. We have a Bonecrusher Giant for their first play. If they are a creature-based deck. If they are not, then we have Expressive Iterations for days. Are you a critter? You are a critter-based deck. Look at that. This could backfire if they play something with 2 toughness, because then it becomes 3 toughness, and that would suck. Oh no! No, not like this. I think I'm supposed to keep this in hand. That is so tilting. That is exceedingly upsetting. I'm upset. Since we drew the land, I think let's just play the land, hold up Bee Crusher for the Kumano Faces Kakuzan. Scrounger is upsetting, to be sure, but we can kill it. And we can exile it with Graveyard Trespasses. I'm not horribly worried about that. Hopefully we just keep drawing lands. That would be excellent. You have a Deadly Dispute or some such? Oh, you might, don't you? That might be why you're playing recursive stuff like Scrappy Scrounger. If so, you live and you learn. Okay, no. So far, so good. We've taken 7 damage, some of which we've done to ourselves, some of which the opponent's done to us. Okay, now that we've drawn a land, I think let's just try to hit another land, and then Meathook massacre away their world. Oh, this is incredible. Golly gosh. I love all of these things. This is a tap land though, so maybe I don't love that as much. So, play Tuckanuma. So let's take the Abrade. Put Hall back in our deck, because I don't think we're ever attacking with Hall with Strong Giants. And then we can play Tuckanuma. Now we have Abrade and Bonecrusher Giant up so that we don't end up taking too much damage. Alright, show me what you got. Courier. Sure. Do I want to take all of this damage? Probably not. So let's Abrade away the Scrounger. We might not even need to Meathook, is the thing. We might just be able to get by with Graveyard Trespasser and Bonecrusher Giant. If they play another creature, we're 100% Meathooking. But they didn't, so let's just Trespass. Drain for 1, gain some life, leave up Giant, and we have Expressive Iteration to refuel when all of this is over. This does look like we're starting to turn the corner. Bomat Courier is absolutely nullified at the moment. Scrapheap Scrounger can attack, but we have Bonecrusher Giant for that. I wonder what instant they've been keeping up. If they attack with both, I am 100% blocking. If they just attack with that, then I will try to Bone Crush the Scrounger. May I crush your bones, Mr. Scrounger? Yes, I may. Okay. Are you going to kill my Trespasser, or are you going to let me exile your second Scrounger too? Unlicensed integration. Sure. For days, for days. Let's iteration. Oh gosh. We'll take the bolus. Chuck the seas. Exile the push. I think I don't mind taking 2. Not ideal to take 2 damage or to let them return their Scrounger, but it's okay. End of turn, when they get back Scrounger, I mean, we do have blockers for it. What we really need is another Graveyard Trespasser. So it looks like the opponent is just on the bring back Scrap Heap Scrounger plan. Still do have good cards for that. So let's... I wonder if I should play second Bone Crush Giant or if I should play Nicol Bolas. I think let's Nicol Bolas. See what they do. What I'm scared of is, say, another unlicensed integration after they get back a Scrounger. That might really hurt. What did we get? We got a Shock when I'm at 5? That can't be great. I mean, I would love going down to 3, but if they're exiling Shocks when I'm at 5, I think Cathartes is in order. They did have the disintegration, so that line would have really hurt us. Now we delay. Oh no! Oh, are we dead? Did they get us? Did they burn us? Maybe we should have just massacred that turn, huh? Oh, so Kenzen, GG. Close. We definitely could have played that slightly differently. I think we maybe played a little too much for value and not enough to conserve our life total. I think we should have definitely prioritized getting the meat hook online. It would have gained us a lot of life. Graveyard Trespasser started by doing a fantastic job, but then the fact that they had more crappy Scroungers and a disintegration for that did definitely hurt. But I think that was definitely the winnable game, and I think in a best of 3 we definitely do win that. So my bad for playing that as I did. This is something I'm still trying to work on, right? The value aggro balance. When do you use what resource? Because this deck, it floods you with resources. Really rather does. So we'll just play both Xander's Lounges. Looks like a slow start, so I don't mind playing out the cycling lands. And this is, after all, perfect mana. It's iteration. I have no idea what they're doing. I will definitely take the Nicol Bolas. I will put Passage into the library, and let's exile Takenuma. There we go. This way we can keep up Fatal Push, and then now we found a threat to deploy on the next turn. Yay. What do you got, fam? Fable of the Mirrorbreaker. Sure. Sure. My turn. I don't mind putting out Nicky B. If he gets our treasure, so be it. I don't think giving him 1 treasure is the end of the world. And they can't even... Oh my god. We're dead. Opponent's gonna play Greasefang and we're gonna die. I should have realized as soon as they played Fable off the black. They're Mardu, they're playing Fable, they're probably playing Parhelion. We're dead. So dead. Sky Sovereign Foundino doesn't actually kill us. Dead. Yeah. Yo. So dead. So dead. Trade an Angel for Nicky B? I believe so, yes. Absolutely trade an Angel for Nicky B. But trade an Angel for Nicky B this turn or next turn. Colomon's Command kills this. so I'm less inclined to kill that now. Trade off with one of the angels here. I think we might survive the first Parhelion, to be honest. Deadly Dispute? Sure. That was an excellent draw. Because now we can thirst that. Or braid the Grease Fang. Play Black and pass. Grease Fang is so unfun to play against. It feels a lot like just Splinter Twin, like old Splinter Twin, where they would just... You're playing the game and suddenly turn 3 or turn 4, they're like, whoa, I played this card that gave me such a massive advantage, I probably just win the game now. It's not just win the game, so it's a little bit better than Splinter Twin. It doesn't stop it from feeling really bad. Yeah, no, we're dead. No instant speed removal spell there. Take all lumps. Wow, 2 quick losses. 1 more loss and we're out of the event. That would be an unmitigated disaster. I really don't want to spend 2,500 gold for 50 gems. Please, my dignity. Although me misjudging what I was up against might have been part of what cost me there. Maybe I was supposed to hold up removal for Grease Fang. I don't know. I kind of just risk not doing anything if I just keep playing like that. I know it's rough. Well, we've got all our colors. We've got all our colors. We've got cards that dig. We've got early removal on the draw, but up against another red deck. Okay. All right. Kumano and Kakazan. Don't hurt me too badly, alright, Kakazan? Oh, no creature? That's incredible. Good start, Chief. I like that. Alright, do you have a hasty 3-3? Better than a hasty 3-3, arguably. But it's fine. It's far from unplayable. So, turn 3, we haven't taken any damage yet. That's good. But they have an Annex, and they're gonna attack with it. That's right, they are. Definitely give them 2 1/1s here, right? Not taking 7. Wow. That was a draw. Am I supposed to get greedy? I don't think I'm supposed to get greedy, dude. I have so many cards in hand. Just get rid of everything. Torben and the tokens. They're so scary because each token deals 3 damage and then Ember Cleave. Suddenly you're taking 4 more damage off of that. 5 if you count the extra power. Annex. How do we play this? I think we're supposed to make a life-linking vampire. And then if Annex attacks the Sorin, I think we just let Sorin die. Literally a 4-mana 2/3 lifelinker that gains some life on ETB might be worth our time. Attacking us, eh? No looks. You got me, Chief. Pretty good draw. So now the question is, do I want to Omen to try to find something, Iteration to try and find something, or Ashiok, just put the Annex back? I think we can try and find something. We have critters. Not quite what I was hoping for, but it's fine. So I have to choose between Shatter Skull Smashing and Kolagham's Command. Between the two, I think in this scenario, Shatter Skull is going to be a bit better. because we can use it to kill both of their things next turn. So let's Shatter Skull, put the command in the library, and then we'll exile the land. And then we can play second blue. Let's Omen. See if we can find a removal spell. Perfect. Thoughtseize can go away. We'll pick up the Abrade. Now the question is, do I mine a Sorin right away? Make another lifelinker? I think so. We have enough card draw to where this isn't as relevant. So I think let's just minus away the Sorin. And then, actually, you don't even need to attack. I could, but these guys by themselves hold back Torbran. And if they try to do the big nasty Embercleave trick on me, then it's actually what happened. Oh, Shiza. Torbran is incredible there, isn't he? Okay, so we can deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we will have enough to kill both of these. So let's abrade away the Annex. And then next turn we can Shatter Skull away the Torbran and the Chain Whirler, taking full, which I don't love. But it's alright. Wow, if I had known that that's what they have. Wait, this is for 5, right? Yeah, so I can't even kill the Whirler. Oh, this is horrifying. What? What am I mathing wrong? X equals 5. Why are they letting me X for 8? Hold up. I'm confused. Oh, I can't submit if I do it like that. Okay, that makes all the sense. I think we're just dead though. This doesn't matter. Confusion about this thing aside. So X equal to 5, Torbran. If we had one more, we'd been able to kill both of them, and then it would have been cool. But as it is, we're dead. We're dead. We're dead. We're dead. Just dead. 1 minute short of Omen of the Seeing, trying to find a Meathook Massacre. We're down to 1. My career, yep, dead. Wow, that was an exceedingly disappointing Explorer event performance. That is not indicative of how this deck can perform. And to demonstrate that, I will go ahead and head up into the ranked queue, because that was frankly embarrassing. Prize? What prize? I didn't deserve a prize. Just lost so much gold and gems, I cry. I swear this is better than it looks. What did I do that for? What were you waiting for the server for? Hi, MtG Arena? Huh? Huh? You want to get restarted, buddy? See, it was gonna give me this thing. That's not great. Wanted to play my dragon deck, my Nicol Bolas deck. There were obvious lines that went wrong in, I think, each of the games that we played. In the first game that we lost, we should have put the Meathook on the board. We had a very good chance of winning if we did that. Second game that we lost, that was just Restang doing Restang things. There were maybe slightly different lines we could have picked, but I think they would have had us almost no matter what. And then in that last game, we definitely took the long run. We didn't consider what would happen if they just double Chain Whirler us. So that's completely our bad. We just completely failed to conceptualize what our opponent could have. Oh, we're against Omnath. I know. Ugh, so unfun to play against Omnath. You can win against Omnath. I just mean with this deck. Like, Omnath has no bad matchups, right? Deck's busted, cards busted, should have banned. I can't believe they banned it in not Winota. Like, they're on the play. That's not Omnath. Oh my. It's definitely not Omnath, but they're not exactly trying to play fair either, let's put it that way. Let's get this Proctor out of here. It's actually fairly annoying for our current hand with the Omen of the Seas and the Nicol Bolai. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 if you so desire. Dead. 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 Plus, minus, minus, discard a card. I love that. Please. Because I know for sure you can't protect this for 1 mana, realistically. So now I can just get rid of everything in your hand, right? I can, and kill Teferi. So Kolaghan's Command. So you discard and then deal 2 here. Now, unfortunately, we do need to find a removal spell for this stupid Hall of the Storm Giants. I do believe they have enough to activate and hit us with it, thanks to their Lotus Field. Strict proper Lotus Field. That's lame. Let's Nicol Bolas. Get rid of their card. Another Lotus Field. That's funny. It seems inconsistent, but really fun when you get to pop off with it. I appreciate that. Opponent will be trying to haul again. If they do that, we will just take the hit. Ouch. Because I was going to say we could just take the hit and then trade with the Braid. But then this changes things. Let's Omen of the Sea. We can throw away 1, grab another. Then now, I don't think this matters. We can get attacked for a bit. I think that's fine. I don't care. I want to make sure that Nissa does die. And if they want to attack here with their land, with the Nissa land, we will trade our Trespasser for it, I think. Because then we can repeat the Nicol Bolas break trick that we were planning. But there's a chance they just won't animate a land, because if they animate a land, they know that there's a high chance we'll just use spot removal to kill their lands. This particular variety of quote-unquote control deck that we're playing actually has threats that can pressure Planeswalkers quite nicely. So despite him getting a significant mana advantage over us, I think we've managed our resources well enough. Really? I'll take my 7. Take my Lumps Chief. Ooh, now I really hope I draw land. An untapped land! Because then I could have attacked with Nicol Bolas, played Nicol Bolas again, made him discard his card, and killed Nissa. I think that might still be fine, though. And also cast a Braid. Because I can still do all of that, I just can't cast a Braid when I do it. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Because that also gets rid of the last card he drew, so we'll keep this one, make him discard that one. Oh, that was a good one. Oh my god. Oh god. That would have been horrifying if that had happened to us. So now he gets to untap with Hall. Attack us with Hall and the 3/3. We will 100% double block. Yep, double block. Easy double block, and then we have a braid up for that guy. So if we had run an untapped land, we could have avoided taking this damage, but it is okay. So I think we should kill their land, is my guess. So let's just kill that. Why? What do we lose to? We can lose to, say, a hasty Nissa, right? So, unless we can find an untapped land here. Okay, well, that is an untapped land. Let's just take one of those, because that lets me get Yorion, and then no attacks. I don't mind slowing down a little here. It means I don't die. And then next turn, I can blink everything strict proc pressure. Actually, that's extremely annoying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's very annoying. Because it stops all my card draw from my omens. I will not pay. So that thing just stopped me from drawing 2 cards. That's ridiculous. We're no longer a threat of dying to Hasty Thing. We'll block Hasty Thing and we'll take 1. But I think if we don't start pressuring, we will eventually lose. So let's just start getting stuff out of there. Nicol Bolas would be incredible. Dragon God would be incredible in this situation because the Dragon God could start making him exile lands, which are very, very, very valuable in this situation. If they draw a removal spell for the Yorion, we're still not dead, because we're down to 1. What do you have? So, discontinuity, right? So let's see if we can't draw an instant. Okay, we didn't draw an instant, so let's activate the Hive. 4, 4, 8, and 3, 11. Oh, well, of course that doesn't do anything. I should just cycle goes down. What am I doing? I'm stupid. For some reason, I thought it just like made me skip. I thought that was like a silence. I can't play spells. I completely forgot they just ended the turn. I should have just gone cycle. That was a punt, and I deserved to lose that one. But it's okay. We didn't lose, and that's what really counts. Opponent must have thought we were an absolute idiot when we did that in front of him. Oh, yikes. That was so incredibly silly. Alright. What do we got, opponent? Not sure, but we have a Thoughtseize, and they have a Mulligan. So, how bad can it be, really? We don't have an untapped black source for Thoughtseize, but that's okay. Thoughtseize on turn 2 is quite good a lot of the time as well. Well, double Thoughtseize does make it a little awkward. Probably not casting this Hogwarts Mulling ever is my guess. So let's play out the Brute Bit. Green-red are not generally Greasefang colors, so we should be protected from that at least. They play a random critter. We have Blown Crusher Giant for it. That is going to get B Crusher Gianted for sure. So let's Steam Vents, crush some bones. And then next turn, we can tap land Thoughtseize. If we draw an untapped land, then we might change our play depending on what they do. Yeah, so I don't think that changes the play. Start getting these Thoughtseizes out of our hand. Double Questing Beast. Take the Embercleave. And now I'm going to get hit, a 4/4 here, but then I can play the Bone Crusher Giant and have Thoughtseize up because of the Fable Passage. So I can either take away their second Questing Beast or whatever they drew now. Yep, take my lumps. That's also convenient. Now I don't even have to crack the passage. Might be worth saving for Fatal Push. Alright. Bone Crush Giant, if they draw an answer to this, they have planets at the top. We've efficiently dealt with everything they had. Now they're already in top deck mode. Haship Oasis. If they activate the Oasis, what do I do? Well, they're not activating it. If we find nothing else, there's a world in which we Shatter Skull Smash the Pelt Collector, but that's very low on our list of things to do. Low priority on our list of things to do. So now the question is, do we want to Omen and take Yorion in hand, or do we want to Iteration and set up removal for Pelt Collector? I think Iteration makes more sense. That's pretty good. Okay, so let's take the Nicky B to hand and put the Swamp in our library. Exile the Takenuma. Now we can play the Takenuma. And while this is not ideal, because we don't have an... No, this can still work. We can still potentially Omen of the Sea, try to look for Bloodchief's Thirst or Fatal Push. Neither, huh? Command? No. Guess that Bone Crusher Giant. And Bone Crusher Giant in conjunction with Command might just like kill whatever. So okay, this is fine. Because if we Command, get back Bone Crusher, we're in good shape. Hopefully he doesn't have anything else here. That would be pretty incredible. Embercleave! Oh, this only activates the sorcery. If you thought you were going to do that mid-combat. BT, sure. That's completely fine. I don't care about that at all. Are you going to Ruins me? Feel free. What this now lets me do is much the same as my play last turn. So I could just Shatter Skull Smash, and that would be an easy way to do it, but then it doesn't protect me against what they draw. I have a higher value play in mind, where what I can do now is, so I pass turn, wait for them to draw their card. Now, Kolagon's Command, make them discard their card, and 2 damage to the Pelt Collector, so discard, and then 2 damage to the Pelt Collector. And because I've drawn Fatal Push, I can do this. If I didn't draw the Fatal Push, I would on my turn, kill the Pelt Collector, get back Bone Crusher, and then stomp the BTE. But because I have the Fatal Push, I no longer need the stomp. What did you draw? This has to be an instant. Is it a Coco? Did you literally draw Coco? Stomp. Not ideal, but survivable. Let's get rid of the BTE. Okay. Take my lumps. And then... Now I'm kind of still wishing I'd done that original play that I was talking about, but it's okay. So let's put this back. Play the Nicky B. Now, even if they have a hasty threat, Nicky B can stop that from being a problem. If they just Bone Crusher here, then that's very good for us because... Okay, well, now we are in absolutely fabulous shape. So let's get this out of here. Blue. Nicky B. Hit him. Yorion. Oh, I missed a... Gosh darn it. I missed a Graveyard Trespasser trigger. I should have played this first. So that way I would have gotten multiple triggers. I don't think it should matter though. Hopefully it doesn't matter. I don't think I need 2 of these. One is probably fine. I'll keep the Abrade in case I need to beat up an Embercleave. Also, if they attack with the Bone Crusher Giant, I'm gonna pile on like all my creatures in front of it to play around Embercleave. Alright, beat Rule Aggro. So far so good. I am still a little upset over the unfortunate series of nonsense that was the Explorer event, but it's okay. I definitely don't mind throwing away 2,500 gold. I don't care about that at all. It's not like I have to work and wait 2 days for that 2,500 gold. Definitely not the case. No, sir. We are ready to do battle. Show me what you got. Keeping a bunch. Omen of the Sea, Graveyard Trespasser. Good start if we're against a control-ish deck. If we're against an aggressive strategy, it's still fine because we have Omen of the Sea. Omen of the Sea, the consistency, right, that it just brings to the table, it's so incredible. Bloodtithe Harvester. I don't think we need the land though, so I think we can just draw the Bone Crusher Giant and be fine. Just playing out Trespasser, I don't think makes us out. Okay, well, that does make it a little more appealing to just play out the Bloodchief's Thirst on it, because now we can Omen of the Sea again. And we can still hold off Stomp. These people never play one Bloodtithe Harvester, and they also play, as this is the card I was going to mention right now, they also play Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and Bone Crusher Giant is very good against that. So let's crush some bones. And now, against a completely empty board, let's play out a Sorin the Mirthless. I'm pretty happy to pay however much life they want me to pay here. Okay, 0 life is also good for me. Because against an empty board, a Planeswalker just, it's so threatening. Discard 2 Fatal Pushes. Try and get Sorin. Thoughtseize, sure. I've got a good hand. You can't really take away Omen, Graveyard Trespasser would be my guess, yeah. Bloodtithe Harvester, sure. Oh, that is an excellent draw. Let's keep drawing cards. I like cards. Presumably, that's why I played this game. We will save the Abrade, though, for the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. The Bloodtithe Harvester can go ahead and kill Nicol Bolas, I don't care. Because, again, that's a clean little 2-for-1. He discarded all his Fatal Pushes, and then I hit them with the Nicol Bolas, and he's just like, well, I don't want to play this game anymore. And you know, before I made these changes, before I put in Omens and Graveyard Trespassers and Explosive Iterations, I found that one of the matchups I was struggling with, actually, a lot of the time, was this Rakdos mid-range deck. Because they were 2-for-1ing with everything they did. But when I got Graveyard Trespassers of my own, that was enough 2-for-1 threats. Like, putting in the Sorins and Expressive Iterations, it's sufficient number of 2-for-1 threats that are also partially answers in their own right. That the Rakdos opponents just now can no longer keep up with the insane value you generate. So that is definitely a matchup that is improved by doing what we're doing here. Fine hand. Little painful, to be entirely honest. I don't fancy starting the game at 16 life, but I suppose it might be worth it. Probably is, generally is. Even if they're anywhere. Well, now. Let's take Fable, and then we can Extinction Event away on Odd. So we're not going to be playing a Graveyard Trespasser. Unless we draw land, in which case there is legitimately a universe in which we fatal push their Cauldron Familiar and Graveyard Trespasser right away. Alright. I think taking 2 more is fine. Losing life is not ideal against this deck, but I think in this particular case it's okay. We do want to make sure that our hand is properly sculpted. If they play a Witch's Oven here, do we push the Familiar? I think we do. Okay, well, now I feel like a goon for having shocked myself with the Steam Vents, but we'll just pretend we're playing Death Shadow. There we go. Got rid of that. And now we can Omen of the Sea, find a land, and eventually we can throw away the Omen of the Sea. We can sacrifice it to activate Fatal Push for Mayhem Devil. Are you telling me he has not drawn land for Mayhem Devil? He hasn't! But has he drawn a removal spell for the Trespasser? That was an absolutely incredible draw. The reason I said that was an incredible draw is because now I don't need to jump through any hoops to get Fatal Push Revolt trigger. I can just sack the Fatal Passage. Sure. Well, I mean, if opponent wants to do anything against us, they're going to have to draw Red Source, otherwise they're going to be in trouble. We just passed on their turn through without doing anything. We kind of passed too, but like we at least quote-unquote drew a card. Alright, I'm going to keep hitting you. I'm going to need to find a removal spell for this Horvold's Fake-Hearst King, though. I'm going to be honest about that. His opponent just upset and is going to rope us now? No, okay. I'm not going to exile my own graveyard. We have a Kroxa. Might eventually want to cast stuff from there. Autumn. I think we definitely do Omen, though, in order to try and hit our land drop. Any non-land is going to the bottom. If we see 2 lands, then what do we do? Then we'd probably draw 1 and bottom the other. Opponent, what are you thinking so hard about, friend? Do you have a removal spell for the Glutton or not? Is it an Assassin's Trophy? Is that what you're concerned about? Gazillion for wanting yourself and giving me an extra land? Are you thinking, or have you just like rage quit? Are you thinking, raging? What are you doing? Okay. Probably don't need the second Fatal Push. Pass turn. And now if we draw another land next turn, then that would let us cast Yorion without Kraken Fabled Passage, and that's very good. Because then we would just put them on our death clock. What are you thinking? What could you possibly have that's making you think like this? Okay. Mayhem Devil. If he does play Mayhem Devil, I have to sacrifice Fabled Passage in response so that I don't take damage. Also, adding Graveyard Trespassers makes matchups like these so much better. Just having that random extra bit of Graveyard Hate is so incredibly powerful. Okay. Alright, Mr. Devil. Pass to attackers, no attacks, presumably. Alright, Fatal Push away the Devil. This is going to let him make a food. And Fatal Push, presumably, is what he's been holding up all this time? Yeah, okay. Discarding what? Surely not Corvold. Corvold is how you get back into this game. Yeah, okay, discarding. Sure, I'll take. Oh my goodness. I was planning to just play Yorion, but I think this changes plans. Because now I can go Nicol Bolas, make him discard a card. He'll have to choose between two spells, because we knew he just drew the Stomping Grounds. He has two non-lands in hand. So he has to discard one of these, and even if he discards the other card and then he draws a land to play Corvold, then even after that we will still be able to Yorion, Nicol Bolas, Omen of the Sea, throw away whatever card he drew Trail of Crumbs. Okay, he didn't even draw that, so now he's just dead, right? Because he cannot even crack this and pay one. Does not have the mana to eat the food and pay the life for the Trail of Crumbs. Pay the mana, I mean, for the Trail of Crumbs. So opponent unfortunately got a little stuck on mana, and that is going to lead us to absolutely crush them. That is one thing that is real nice about this deck. It plays really smoothly when you need to pressure somebody. That's something that I think just very reactive decks have a difficult time closing out. This is why you'll only see things like Teferi and Wandering Emperor and like those decks. This is one of the reasons that you see them being the only control decks in the format, because their removal is sufficiently good to always keep all the permanents off the board. Because otherwise, if you're not adding to the board, it's just so difficult if you're not in some combination of white to just answer every possible permanent. We don't need either of these. But in theory, you have drawn the Omen, but might as well just dig deeper directly. This isn't relevant. Like, there's very little the Cat Oven deck can do when they only have half their engine pieces. It's not a bad draw, but I mean, you're about to die. I don't know that there's any card in your deck that saves you here. Definitely nothing for 2 mana, that's for sure. Or even 3 mana, if you happen to play a land here. Cracking Food doesn't do it. There's enough lethal threats. Still doesn't do it. Bone Crusher Giant, Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Alright. I mean, there's so many ways we could kill him. Activate Hive, stomp his face, stomp the goose, attack with both. Although, if he has drawn a second Fatal Push, then this line is actually not lethal. So maybe I should have just stomped face and attacked with both. But I don't think either way was going to matter terribly much. Gilded Goose with Trail of Crumbs is also quite the combo. Unfortunately for the opponent, we were able to have sufficient disruption to what they were trying to do. And so they're not allowed to have fun. We're the only ones who are allowed to have fun. Alright, let's see if we can get one more win. Get us to Diamond. Diamond Gamer coming through. And then we can be Heartstock Diamond. Washed Up Has Been. And decent hand. Pretty chock full of removal. We do like that. We can either Steam Vents first and Hive second, or Hive first and Steam Vents second, but I think we'll just Steam Vents first. Speaker of the Heavens, sure. Play out the Hive. Depending on what they play, our answers are sufficiently cheap that we'll be able to keep deploying our cards no matter almost what they do. No, I'm not going to let you hit me. Go away. You're annoying. You upset me. Second speaker, sure. Let's play the Mauling tapped as a land. Because that way we can play Nicky B next time. Sure. Let's... what else is this deck plays Bishop of Wings and Righteous Valkyrie, which our braid doesn't kill. So let's use the 3 damage spell here. Leave up the Fatal Push for 4 toughness creatures. Like that guy right there. Well, that's probably going to be pretty good. So let's play out the blue source so that we have mana for Ravager. And now we have an Equal Bolus the Ravager. And we can start hitting in the air. Opponent appears to be stuck on 2 lands, regrettably for them. Sure. If they keep playing odd creatures, like odd mana cost creatures, that is not going to go well for them. I can assure them of that much. Also, we'll just start hitting them. Whenever Angel enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. Bishops for days, huh? I'm not actually interested in Extinction eventing on even because I don't want to get rid of my Nicol Bolas. So let's just get rid of your bishop. The first bishop, at least. Sure. Pretty good draw. Nicol Bolas, hit him. I mean, your green-white matchup in general is very good because you have all of these 2-for-1s that the green-white deck doesn't really care about dealing with. Okay, well, fatal push there. And then once the Giada hits the board, we can abrade that. So, we came prepared with all of the removal. One of the unfortunate things about playing this deck is, like, let's say you're against an opposing control deck, and you just have this mono removal draw that is absolutely incredible here, but would be very horrible in the control matchup. Like, if they can just answer your one threat in the removal heavy hands, it does feel pretty bad. Let's just put them out of their misery, the poor things. Hit them. We're going to Yorion instead of Ashiok-ing. This does generate value. Yeah, well, he's dead. This does generate value, but also just puts 8 lethal power on the board. So there. See, I don't know why that couldn't have happened in the Explorer event, but it's probably because they wanted to give us Diamond. So, Diamond, here we are.